Hiya, nice to meet you.
Yeah, good to see you.
My name's Aayon.
Trevor Bernard.
Nice.
Pleasure to meet you.
You as well? Yeah, I've heard a lot about you since I've joined.
Probably all bad.
No, not all bad.
I just missed out on meeting you before as I was retiring. You just joined the service and I just left. And I remember seeing you coming through on the recruitment. And I thought, I need to work with that guy. Yeah. I need to work with that guy. And I thought, yeah, exciting times for South Yorkshire Fire Service. So
yeah, when I first joined, I watched. They did mention you a lot, saying that you'd been down there. It would have been good to meet you.
You're settling in okay, yeah?
Yeah, it's going great. Enjoying it.
Good man. Good man.
Best decision I've made so far.
Well, it's the best job you will ever have. I'll tell you that now, and that's speaking from experience, and that is just totally from experience. The best job you will ever have.
When did you join the fire service?
I joined the fire service in June 1988. Long story short, I applied twice, failed the first time, and I thought, no, I can do this. And it was just something stupid that I failed on. It was something to do with some tests. So I went back, did some more revision, did some more stuff from school. Yeah. And this is where education pays off. I really went back to school on some stuff, and then I came back and flew the test. So that was no problem. In 1988, I joined the fire service. In 2018, I retired. 30 years service.
How do you find it joining at that time?
That's a good question. Times were tough, I've got to say, because at that point in time, there was quite a lot going off in the world in terms of race and equality and stuff like that, and the fire service at that time was a white male dominated institution. The fire service at the time, the chief fire officer at the time was a guy called Harry Wright, and he was really pushing equality in the fire service at that point in time, and he wanted to make sure that the fire service represented the communities in which we serve, and I thought that was a really good point that he made. And when I joined the fire service, at that time there was quite a lot of people against black firefighters coming into the fire service. And I don't know why. I think it was, were they scared? Were they just didn't like black firefighters? I just don't know why that was the point, but that's the feeling I got, and that's the feeling I received when I arrived on the station as well. So times were tough. Yeah. And then when you hear the stories across the country of black firefighters having issues on station, it was quite demoralising, but it kind of toughened me up, because I thought, no, we have got to get through this point and make it better for future firefighters coming through. Yeah, definitely understand that. What about yourself? What about now? How's things now?
Well, I joined 3 years ago. A bit similar to your story, actually. I applied and didn't get through the first time. I think I know what I failed on. It was an online science test that they did at the time. Applied again, and like you said, sailed through.
Right.
Got through. Not so. I don't think I had as many as the queue, but they told us there was over 1,000 people that applied. Yeah. 12 of us got in, so I was really proud. And to be fair, at that point, I'd never seen a black firefighter in my life.
Wow.
Never seen one.
Honestly?
Honestly. Never seen one, never heard anyone who had seen one.
Wow.
Never seen one on a fire engine. And growing up, fire engines were like a big thing for me. Anytime I went past, you know what I mean? It was hands on window, like, oh, look, a fire engine. So it was something I always wanted to do. I know they didn't recruit for a long time. So when they finally did, I jumped on it. I was like, this is my time.
Yeah.
So went through it all. And funnily enough, when I joined, I actually joined with a kid that I grew up with on my road. It was also black as well.
Black firefighter,
so it was like, it was nice to see someone else, you know what I mean, familiar. At the same time as me that I was familiar with. Yeah. So we kind of went through that same journey together. It wasn't until I actually got in that I actually realised there are actually, you know, other black and ethnic minorities in the fire service. So it was nice to see more.
That does surprise me.
But I think gradually more people are starting to realise
it's a career choice. Absolutely,
well, you know what I mean?
And the thing is, it shouldn't deter them, should it? That they can be firefighters regardless of what they do. And I know you asked me why when I joined the fire, but why did you join? Why did you join?
For me personally, I just wanted to help my community. You know what I mean? I've always been into helping people, always been into fitness.
This isn't an interview, by the way.
Always been into my fitness, team, you know what I mean? I'm a very team-orientated person. I kind of got to it, I was working in an office, and you know, like when you get to that point where you're like, what do I want to do with my life?
Yeah.
And I just thought of jobs that kind of mirrored how I live, you know what I mean, what my strong points were. And it just come back to me like, I've always wanted to be a firefighter. So I just had to look into it, and it just so happened that the recruitment was starting.
Wow.
When I looked into it, like when I turned 30, so I thought, I'm actually going to go for it now. I'm going to have a go. I've got nothing to lose. And like I said, I got in and never looked back.
Good man. Yeah. The thing is, you know your experience of not seeing any black firefighters in the fire service. Yeah. I'm just trying to build on what you said earlier on. Did that affect your decision? Did that scare you or put you off in any way? I know you wanted to be a firefighter, but did that put you off not seeing any black fighters, thinking that you might be the only black firefighter in the fire service?
When I thought about it, I was like, it didn't actually put me off. If anything, it made me want it more.
Wow.
So I was like, well, I'll be that first one that other little kids can see and be like, oh, look. I mean, even now, it still surprises me now. I'll be driving around on a fire engine and someone will look and double look again.
Black firefighter, yeah.
And be like, wow, a black firefighter.
Yeah.
And that's not just, you know, white people, it's black as well.
Black communities as well.
I went to a job and the black community had come out and it was like, wow.
Absolutely.
There were three of us.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah, and it was, you know what I mean, little kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, it's just nice to know that I'm changing the perception of other young people in the community, you know what I mean?
Brilliant.
I've done talks in schools.
So you're becoming a positive role model.
There's nothing stopping you from doing anything you want. Not just the fire service, you know what I mean? Don't let anything stop you doing it. You know what I mean?
And to be truthful, I think that's such a good thing to do by going into the schools and helping the schools and getting the kids to buy into that, into what you're feeling about the fire services, to what you think about the communities and what you're thinking about helping bring something back in the communities. Yeah, that's excellent.
I'm a big believer of that. So thinking about what you were saying before, what's the hardest thing for you being a firefighter when you was a firefighter? What would you say the hardest thing was at that point?
At that point in time, and I'm talking 30 years ago, up to like being 7, 8, 10 years in the job. Yeah. I think it was about having to prove yourself. Okay. All the time. There was always somebody saying, you can't do that. And the question afterwards from me was, why can't I do that? Yeah. What makes you think I can't do that? Why would you say that to me and you don't say it to anybody else? And I think that kind of spurred me on to be a better firefighter. And I think that was hard because you felt like you had to try twice as hard to get half as far. Okay. And sad but true. Yeah, cool. Did you feel like that changed as you started to progress? Because I know you started slowly.
Like
I think slowly it did. And I think now, due to the styles of leadership that we've got now in the fire service, especially the current chief we have, I believe that we've got leadership and a bit of guidance now, proper guidance, and working with people in HR, working with other firefighters, and the way we recruit now. I think that's changed perceptions, and I think as we've gone through the fire service in the last 10 years, things have changed dramatically, and for the better. Yeah, for the better, definitely.
Yeah. So we'll go to this one. So why do you think there aren't more non-white people currently working in the fire and rescue service?
I knew you'd give me that question. That's another good question. There's a bit of a stigma with uniform. Okay. And it's a cultural thing. We don't want to be seen to be part of some of us don't want to be seen as a part of a thin blue line, part of the establishment. When both, and I don't want to call any service, but if you look at the emergency services, we all wear uniform, we all work together, we've all got to work within a disciplined environment. And I think that kind of grates against some people's own cultural background and how they want to live. But I think it's also about the establishment itself. People believe that these establishments are out to get them when they're not. And I feel that if if they looked at these services as a job opportunity to get a good job, I think we would get more people from black and ethnic minority groups to join the fire service personally. And I think that's just my personal opinion. It's a stigma.
Yeah.
And I think it's sometimes a little bit of fear as well, that they don't want to be dissed in front of their friends. You know what I mean? I think that's another thing that they think, oh, you've sold out.
I understand that.
I think I've heard that so many times. You've sold out. You're wearing a uniform. I'm thinking, wow. Yeah. Come on. You know what I mean?
You're trying to do something positive.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think you saying that leads on to why I think doing any or as much wanting to join in it's because you don't see it. You know what I mean? For me personally,
you never saw it.
I didn't see it. I didn't see a black firefighter, so I never thought to myself.
Area as well.
Yeah, and so I never thought, oh, that's something I could do. You know what I mean? When you like, I always ask young black ethnic kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? And the most common answers are they want to be a music person or footballer or sport, which is not bad things.
Nothing at all.
Nothing against that, but because that's what they see. You know what I mean? They grow up seeing that's what. So it's that's all they can do, and
absolutely.
It's not. You know what I mean? So when they do, so the more that they see growing up, oh, I might be able to do that because I've seen someone doing it. You know what I mean? So I think it is the fact that there's just not enough there, and then like because there's no one there, there's no one to help them get in. You know what I mean? I know a lot of the people who I joined with, they've got uncles or dads that were firefighters or still are firefighters, so they have that kind of extra hand to help them. You know what I mean?
They had that insight, didn't they?
Yeah, they have a step ahead. You know what I mean? They've got all the answers already for the
questions,
interviews, whatever. Whereas we're coming on a fresh, clean slate, which for me wasn't about. I didn't. You know what I mean? I took that as a challenge. You know what I mean? It's fine, but for others, you know what I mean? It's
well, this is the reason. This is my opening. Our opening statement when we first met today was that's why I wanted to work with you. Yeah. Because I thought I want to give as much help as I can to any black firefighter coming. Anybody that comes in the fire service, you ask anybody that's joined the fire service, had any sort of contact with me, it's been help, giving them some assistance. But I really wanted to work with you because of that point. Because we need people who are knowledgeable of the fire service to support people in the fire service coming in. Can I ask you another question? What's the most memorable incident you've been to so far? I know it's a short period of time, 3 years, but what's the most memorable one?
The most memorable? I've had quite a few, to be fair, being based at Central.
Yeah, good station.
If I'm being honest, I'd probably have to say my very first shift. My very first tour on station is probably my most memorable because I had such a vast array of jobs on that first tour. It was like an eye-opener. I think the first day I got a flooding where I'd been bragging to my gaffer about using one of the pieces of equipment, and basically it was like, right, you know how to use that. Yeah. Go and do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's, oh yeah, right, it's me. You know what I mean? And then the night shift we had like a big fire, and then unfortunately I had my first fatal. You know,
on that shift?
On that same shift that night, we had a road traffic accident. Unfortunately, the young person didn't make it. Wow. But I think that was the first time where, I wouldn't say I was nervous or scared, but I remember turning up, pulling up, and the head paramedic at that job looked at the pump and said, "This is time critical, he needs to come out." Right. And that was the last, and as soon as I heard that, it was like the heartbeat, like the...
you know there was something serious.
It kind of just went flat. You know what I mean? And it's like you just revert back to your training. You know
things,
what I mean?
Do you feel that things go silent?
Yeah, it was as soon as he said that. Even though there's
noise around you, everything goes silent in your mind.
Pulled up, you got the sirens going, everyone's running around outside. As soon as I heard the paramedic say that, I didn't hear anything else until I got off the wagon. And like you say, you just fall back into your training. You know what I mean? We managed to get him out. Like I said, unfortunately, he didn't make it, but it was just a real eye-opener to, like, this is what I signed up for.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is what I'm going to be coming to and seeing for the rest of my career, basically.
What a start. The thing is, bittersweet really, wasn't it? Because you were busy, but you had to face a fatality on your first shift, and there's nothing, how you react to that really dictates how you're going to react to a lot of things in the future, doesn't it really? But going to a fatality on your first shot is... it was a hard job. But the brigade was there, you know, they offered counselling, the counselling and stuff that you need if you need it. Personnel was okay, but
and to be fair, my career's just carried on the same since then. So
still busy at Central?
Always busy. Having retired from the service, how is that? How do you look at the fire service now as a whole? Now that you're no longer in that sort of bubble.
Yeah. As an officer now retired that was in the fire service, you think that you're the best thing since sliced bread when you're in the fire service. You think that there's no firefighters better than you, and that they're not as good as you when the new ones are coming through. My opinion of that is that there are good people coming through to the fire service. We will always recruit the best people that we can, regardless of background, regardless of ability. We will look at people's ability to be a firefighter and who's got the qualities. Now, there's good and bad, and we've got to accept that, and we've got to make sure we stick together as the good and we deal with the bad.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I don't think I could top that answer, to be honest. Yeah, it's a really good answer, actually.
Okay, that's fine.
I'll take that answer. I'll take that as mine as well. Yeah. Okay, well,
Aayon, it's been a pleasure,
it's been a pleasure
speaking to you. I know some of the questions we asked were pretty tough, but I think the way you answered them, I know the fire service is in good hands. So thank you for the opportunity to ask you some questions today.
Yeah, definitely. It was nice to hear your cast on it as well from when you was in, and looking forward to meeting you again.
Listen, mate, good. Yeah. Well done. Thank you very much, Aayon.
Take care.
I wish you all the best in your career. Look after yourself. Look after the service, yeah?